Hi everybody, this is Cameron Snow with Danomics. In this video, I'm going to briefly show you some of the new options that have been available since August 2025 on how we can style up our cross sections. So let's get started. So here I've got a petrophysics project. All these options are also available in a map project as well. So all you need to do is come up here to your cross section and click on the gear icon, and this brings up the plot settings. You'll notice the first thing that you see is there's this new plot options. And this gives us the ability to turn things off, like, the x-axis, which is the header up here at the top. We can turn off the vertical grid lines for a cleaner look. We can also turn off the horizontal grid lines. So you can make a really clean looking cross section that way now. We also have some options on fixed and variable spacing. So you can use this to make your wells, for example, farther apart, to make them closer together, or you can use variable spacing, which bases the distance on how far apart the wells are. So you can see here we've got wells that are quite close together, but then we do have a few jumps here. For example, this well that's in the middle is quite isolated, and so we see that it's a farther distance to its neighboring wells. And for tops labeling, we now give you the options to have your labels appear just on the left side, just on the right side, both, or not at all. That's in addition to the legacy display of having them between the wells. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Now, the next thing that we can do is we can add variable color fills to our track. So for example, let's say we wanted not just to see our gamma ray like this, but let's say we wanted to see it with uh, with a color fill. So I want to fill it with a curve, and I'm going to fill it with the curve gamma ray final. So let's say I wanted the gamma ray colored by gamma ray just to make it pop a little bit more. So the first option here is the display name. The second is the curve that we're going to use, and then we have the scale that we're going to put it on, and then we can select the color map that we want to use, and now we can have it do that coloring. So now we are coloring from, a value of about 80 up to the curve. We could maybe drop that a little bit to make sure we're coloring everywhere here. And we can still add additional flat fills to this. So I'm going to add another fill here. And this next fill, I'm going to go from, it's going to be a solid fill. I'm going to go from the curve value to a constant value of 80, or sorry, of let's say 120 here. And what this will do is it will then fill in the curve here with gray in this case. And so, we can just update that a little bit there. And so it gives us a really almost like a display that looks like it's highlighting the shell volume in here, right? So kind of gives us an idea of, hey, what would our sand shell split be in some of these wells? All right, so let's say now we wanted to make a cross section where we add, have a lot of wells, very dense display. So we can do that as well. And this is where some of these new options will come in. So I'm going to turn off all my axes. And I'm mainly interested in the gamma ray. I think that's the one that's most useful for correlating in this area. So I'm actually going to remove my depth track and my resistivity track. And I'm going to put my tops just on the left side of each well. And I'm going to, maybe make my log a little bit narrower here. So we'll make the track itself narrower. And then I'm going to adjust the spacing between these. So let's turn that spacing down. And you can see now we're starting to get these type of views where you can see, a lot of wells on one cross section here. So, really gives you a good idea. It really makes that Niobrara pop when you've got these wells sitting, this close to one another. Really lets you see how how it's changing across the area. And of course, we still have the options to come in and flatten on a horizon while we're doing this. So then you can come through and say, hey, You know, let me see. Do I have any mispicks here on my gamma ray? You know, for my Niobrara. Huh, looks like maybe there's a well up here that we may want to do some additional normalization work on. Um, all right. Well, I hope that was useful to you. Gives you something to think about when you're building out new cross sections. Right. If you have any questions, just shoot us an email at support@danomics.com. And if you're new to Danomics and you would like to learn more, get a demo, pick up a license, you can always contact us at sales@danomics.com. Thank you.